Karens complaining about Rock Band, complaining about Dance Dance Revolution. What a bunch of losers. Anyways, you know who's not a loser? Either of these players. These guys are badasses. Two of the best Protosses to play this game. In this grand finals, a best of 5. You'd love to see it. Spawning in the upper left-hand corner. Of Sight Delta, we have the chin toss himself for Twisted Minds, Classic. And his opponent in the lower right, you can't deny he's the best Protoss in the world right now. He's sitting at number 2 on Aligulac. The only person anywhere near Cyril by that mostly objective rating. It is Psystorm Gaming's MaxPax. I feel like, just to go back to this conversation about Rock Band and Dance Dance Revolution and neighbors complaining about people having fun, I feel like that's the same kind of mentality as, like, you know, when people complain about there being, like, kids, especially, like, babies crying on, like, an airplane or in a restaurant. Kids are kind of, you know, be a little loud, right? And they're like, wow, kids, children. And I'm always like, does that really bother you? Like, if I'm trying to sleep on an airplane and there's a baby crying, that's mildly annoying, right? It's a mild annoyance. But again, I don't know, get over it. Like, I feel more bad for the parent flying with a baby than I do for myself. Because usually, it's not always like a choice. I remember getting annoyed with a baby one time. I was flying back to college from Albany to Hawaii, right? So it was actually, was it 3 flights? And on 2 of those flights, I was flying with this woman who was moving from Maine to Hawaii because her husband was stationed there with their, like, 6-month-old or something. So there's a 6-month-old on the plane sitting nearby me for both of the long flights. And, like, I don't know, dude. That baby cried sometimes, but mostly it was fine. Classic's going to lose that probe, by the way, just for the record. Classic lost. What has happened? What's going on over here? I was like, why isn't Classic paying attention? Classic has lost 6 probes because a Zealot and an Adept got into his base. I'm so confused. How did that happen? What went down here? Anyways, the moral of the story is we were all kids once. We were all annoying once. And you just need to get over it. Like, sometimes, yeah, I don't want, you know, kids are annoying. Sure, I get it. Especially other people's kids. They're the most annoying. But, like, I don't know, dude. It's really not that big of a deal. We were all kids once. Just deal with it. And you know what? People like to have fun. Sometimes that fun is a little bit loud. And that's okay. As I feel like I've been going on a rant here while there's a game happening. But sometimes the rant is more important, okay? Also, Classic just got in and killed 3 probes, even though MaxPax has way more Phoenixes. Also tried to sneak in here into the natural. Did get 1 more kill. At least will allow his Phoenixes to get away. Classic does not, maybe he does now realize that he's up against the wall here. We are in Phoenix versus Phoenix territory, and MaxPax is winning that fight. Classic is trying to stay away from MaxPax's Phoenixes. But now he's got to play defensive, and he does not have a shield battery yet. His second Stargate just got up. And now Classic, he just has less Phoenixes. I think MaxPax just wins this game right here, right now. That shield battery finishing just in time for the GG. Bit of a weird one there, as both players tried to go for a faster expansion, and MaxPax just had the plans, man. The Zealot and the Adept getting in there, getting a lot of probe kills. He had a much faster second Stargate for much faster Phoenix production. So by the time that fight started happening, Classic was just significantly behind. And more importantly, we decided that people need to complain less and just deal with it more often. Right? I feel like that was the conclusion we reached. And by we, I mean me. And so if you guys disagree, I mean, that sucks for you because my channel. So, I mean, I guess you like disagree in the comments, but that's kind of lame, isn't it? Kind of lame to disagree and not be like on the broadcast. Shout out to the Albany airport. Yeah, dude. Big shout out to the Albany airport. You know what's funny? I was reading a book recently, and one of the part of the book, it's a small part of the book, but part of the book took place at the Albany airport. And the book was Firestarter, so it's from the early 80s. So it's before they built more of the airport out. But I remember the airport when it was like that. Not in the early 80s, but when it was super small. There was 6 gates or something. Anyways, I thought that was funny. Related to the Albany airport, which, you know, it's fine. It's an airport. It doesn't really get you anywhere. But you could get connecting flights to the important places like Chicago or Washington, D.C. That's all that really matters. Now, we're on Radisson Station for game number 2, which is kind of exciting. In the lower left-hand corner, down 0-1 now after that first wonky game. It is Twisted Mind's Classic. His opponent in the upper right-hand corner. For Storm Gaming, it is, of course, MaxPax. Taking that game 1. Both players going for the gateways at the ramps. You know, it makes sense what we're used to seeing on here. I don't see a lot of PvPs on this map, but I think I see PvP more than I see any of the other matchups on this map, so I guess that about does it. Was really cool to see this map pop up in the finals of Katowice. And I think that's a big benefit of how they've been doing the vetoes, allowing players to pick maps before any vetoes happen when it's a longer series. It's even true here, which maybe is why Radisson Station got through. I don't know. Pretty cool. I will say, not to harp on this too much, but Fractal, you're bringing up some good points in chat, and I do want to kind of address it. There are some restaurants where you should just expect there to be children and just deal with it. If you go to Applebee's and you're complaining that there's children in the booth next to you, you need to figure yourself out. If you're at a nice restaurant, I don't normally expect... Well, I mean, I want to say I don't necessarily expect children, but, your children should be well-behaved, and if you're at a nice restaurant and your children aren't being well-behaved, you should leave. There's definitely certain expectations at certain places, but I feel like for the most part, those are honored. I don't know. It's something I certainly hear more complaints about than I see actually happening in action. Okay, let's talk about this game a little bit because Classic took a much faster expansion than MaxPax. That means MaxPax's Stargate's going to be out much sooner. His units in general are going to be out much sooner. Like his probes being annoying here, and he's already got a Zealot hit in the front. This time, though, Classic going to put the gateway down to block the Zealot from getting in. The Adepts won't be able to really help out either. And it's Phoenixes coming out of MaxPax right away. So he does see this Stargate coming up, so of course, Classic's going to be 2 full Phoenixes behind as this starts up. Now, Stalkers, rather, can help in that fight, but they can't help in that fight and defend the front at the same time. So it's going to make it kind of annoying for Classic to deal with this. I like that Classic's over here scouting things out, making sure there wasn't something cheeky in that corner. Oh, Classic's Phoenix is very exposed right now. There's no shield battery to help it out. He's just going to lose that first Phoenix, and MaxPax gets out of there with both of his still alive. This gateway finishes up, but it is very low on hit points. I'd love to see a shield battery go down for Classic. I think he needs to stop building Phoenixes. The second Stargate going down already for MaxPax, who's going to be ahead 3 Phoenixes to 1, maybe 2. Yeah, second one does pop out for Classic, and you know what? He keeps both of them alive. MaxPax somehow doesn't lose this 4 hit point Phoenix. But now MaxPax, he's about to have double Phoenix production. And I feel like Classic is just going to be in an impossible to come back from position. It's 2 to 5 Phoenixes already. I really feel like he needs to stop building Phoenixes. He's losing this battle so much. Oh my god, he's going to put down a second Stargate. I think MaxPax is just going to straight up win this game. Again, I think this is going to look so much like last game. This one Adept is going to kill this gateway. He's going to do it. Excuse me, I forgot. Adepts are women. And now she's going to get him into the main base. And gun down a probe. Goddamn. Also distracting. Shield battery overcharge gets turned on to try to keep Classic alive. Classic is desperately trying to get into double Phoenix production and the fleet beacon. But it is 5 to 9 Phoenix. I don't know, dude. I feel like MaxPax, he's just so far ahead. Classic needs to clear this mineral patch. Phoenix is trying to dive forward. The Stalkers can help a little bit, but they're really not that much extra DPS. The shield battery only works for so long. Eventually, MaxPax will have so many Phoenixes it won't matter. Stalkers need to be careful not to move out too far. Wait, Classic is trying to take this base. That's a little surprising. That is not the base I expected Classic to try to take. Of course, this one's generally easier to take. MaxPax doesn't have a third base coming up just yet, and his fleet beacon's later. If Classic can get this, this upgrade finished up, and the impulse crystals, I mean that's gonna equalize things a little bit. It's 10 to 12 now. As MaxPax did lose another Phoenix, so he's 1 less Phoenix ahead. 10 to 13, I guess. I don't know. This is getting kind of weird. MaxPax is going to take a third as well. How is Classic in this game? I feel like Classic shouldn't still be alive. But somehow MaxPax wasn't able to just straight up kill him with like a 4 Phoenix lead earlier on. The Stalkers and the shield battery helping to zone. And Classic, I love that he's just putting pylons out around the map to help keep tabs on where these Phoenixes are. Anti-impulse crystals is done for both players. Classic still down 3 Phoenixes, but he's got a third Stargate on the way. Oh, and a bit of a supply block right now for MaxPax. He's waiting for pylons to finish. He's going to start up a mothership. Oh, this is getting good. Okay. I'll be honest, I haven't seen a Phoenix versus Phoenix game last this long in a long time, especially with MaxPax, who usually just wins them, kind of like we saw in game 1, where it's like, oh, it's Phoenix. It's like, wait, well, I think MaxPax just wins. I'm still not convinced that MaxPax won't just win, but you know what? That bit of a delay means that the Phoenix count isn't that extreme in his favor anymore. And now Classic's going straight into carriers. So he is trying to get these carriers out. Both players have motherships on the way. But because MaxPax is playing so defensively, I mean, both players are playing very defensively. But that's going to be good for Classic because it should allow him to get these carriers out. Now, how do the carriers interact in the Phoenix versus Phoenix wars? That's a tough question. Ooh, MaxPax. Wait, MaxPax has spotted this. How has he spotted this? Is this his pylon? Oh, it is his pylon. I was like, how is he seeing this? Turns out he just has a pylon there. Phoenixes can't hit buildings, so expanding like this is kind of safe. I love that Classic's going straight for these carriers, but now he's going back into Phoenix production. He is down 6 Phoenixes now. Phoenix is coming out. MaxPax blasts the Zealot and then gets out of there. Phoenixes kill interceptors very quickly. +1 on the way for both players. This game is actually kind of crazy. It's actually kind of insane. Mothership's here for both players as well. But oh no, MaxPax is lagging super far behind. It's going to take a lot of damage before anything else happens. It goes down. It drops the time warp, but it goes down, and MaxPax just has to back up. -400, -400. Even though I don't think it costs that much anymore. But now MaxPax sees that there are a couple carriers with this as well, and Cloaking Field is on. Interceptors, though, getting absolutely blasted by those Phoenixes. They barely get any damage done, but they do tank a lot of shots. Classic might be able to use this advantage, as the Phoenix count is very similar, still slightly in the favor of MaxPax, but MaxPax doesn't have any carriers. He doesn't have his mothership. There's a couple stalkers on the ground, too, just to complicate things even further. Classic going to dive forward. MaxPax was super stacked. Ooh, got to keep an eye on this count. Oh, Classic. He's ahead in Phoenixes now. One of the carriers eating some damage, but the interceptors just helping out so much in these fights. And I think Classic's done it, man. Look at the supply. He's up at 86 probes. He's winning the army fight. And MaxPax, who I usually don't see lose these kinds of matches, Phoenixes versus Phoenixes, I think he's lost this one. I don't know where the hell these probes are trying to go, but they're not going to make it. Oh, this one's going to make it back. He'll tell the story to his friends. MaxPax, he just doesn't have anything left. The thing is, when you start losing the Phoenix fight, you just lose the game. Even if he kills that carrier, which he's not even going to get, he just doesn't have anything left. There's the GG. Classic will tie up our series 1-1. Radisson Station just giving us all sorts of fun games. That's hilarious. MaxPax had a big lead at one point. I mean, being up 4 Phoenixes in a Phoenix versus Phoenix fight, it was 5-9. That is crazy. That Classic didn't just die. All right, Golden Ore is going to be map number 3. We're all tied up. That's fun. I'm glad this series is close. I'm always worried that when we have a player who's so dominant, not just in the matchup, but just kind of in general, I always worry we're going to have, one-sided series, but looking like he can bleed a little bit here. As we're tied up, heading into game 3, spawning in the lower right-hand corner of Golden Ore, we've got Systrom Gaming's MaxPax. And of course, his opponent in the upper left for Twisted Minds, it's Classic. Oh, Probe's gonna kiss in the middle of the map. Mwah. MaxPax wasn't clicked on Mineral Patch. He bumped around that probe. Actually, I guess neither of them were clicked on a Mineral Patch. They bumped around each other. You hate to see that. You hate to see that. They didn't kiss. They gave each other the cold shoulder. Everybody's shoulders are cold over here. They're all going to need a parka. Feels weird to say the word Parko like that. I feel like I only ever said it with like a, I don't know, whatever accent it is my grandmother has. You need a parka. Don't go outside, you catch pneumonia. Anybody else's grandmother say shit like that? Is that just me? Can't go outside with wet hair. You catch a cold. So very interesting here. Both players going for the high ground single gate. It's very interesting. There are not very many players who I feel like can play MaxPax's game in PvP. But I do feel like Classic is one of those guys that can do it. It's interesting to see him. It feels like he's studying MaxPax and trying to figure out how to deal with him in this matchup. Classic really loves to 3-gate robo most other Protoss players. He does it a lot. We saw him do it earlier against Classic, and genuinely Classic, or against Creator, excuse me. He 3-gate robos a lot. But we're not seeing him do it against MaxPax. He knows that MaxPax is very good at holding stuff like that. So he's playing a different game against him. And I like it a lot. I like that he's... Like, Classic is playing differently in this series than I've seen him play in most of the PvPs I've cast him in the last year. Feels very specific to play against MaxPax this way. And he's trying to bust through this pylon now. Of course, the shield battery here is holding him down. Second Phoenix pops out, so the Zealot will go down. Yeah, okay. Phoenixes can kill that, and they should be able to kill the Adept as well. This Adept's going to get in, but will shade away. I think the Phoenixes will just catch it. Well, I guess not. Classic keeping his Phoenixes back at home. I don't know if MaxPax knows he's got Phoenixes up there. Yeah, he sees the Stargate. Second Stargate going down for both players. Oh, we are dead even now. Okay. So in games 1 and 2, MaxPax was much quicker on the second Stargate. And it just felt like Classic had the suboptimal opening. However, that is clearly not the case here. In fact, I think... I mean, I kind of like Classic's opening better, even though he's technically lost more. I like that he was being annoying here. I guess at the end of the day, it kind of evens out, but certainly a much better position for Classic heading in to the next phase of the game now. We're going to be pretty much even on Phoenixes. Classic is a Phoenix behind, though. So that's not particularly ideal for him. I'm not sure how MaxPax managed to just have now 2 more Phoenixes than his opponent. I don't know how he managed that. Maybe that's the Adept dying. I don't know, dude. Oh, that's going to get lifted. It will go down. Classic wants to take a little bit of a fight here, but he loses a Phoenix. Oh, man. Oh, that was not good for him. Lost 2 Phoenix to kill 1. Classic trying to get some fancy micro going, but he isn't able to kill that second Phoenix of MaxPax. And now he's got to hang out by the shield battery, which means MaxPax can go up into the main base and poke around a little bit. Classic. Ooh, get the Nexus down. Classic, build the Nexus. Phoenixes are right there. All right, I guess they won't kill the probe, so guess it doesn't matter. Phoenixes are going to go back up into the main. Ooh. Classic cancels that Phoenix at the last second. But now, 7-9. MaxPax takes the Phoenix lead. But Classic says, all right, screw it. I'm going across the map. Both players are just going to kill as many probes as they can. 9 probes going down on both sides here. As both players are just canceling Phoenixes before they pop out. Look at MaxPax just waiting. Nope, canceled again. Canceled again over here. But MaxPax is up 10-7 Phoenixes. And with more Phoenixes, MaxPax is just going to kill more probes. Classic is down on the probes. Classic does have anti-impulse crystals started up, though, which is something that MaxPax does not have. Nope, never mind. As I say it, he starts it up. Oh, there's the recall for MaxPax. Classic will just get out of there. But now MaxPax is up 12-7 Phoenixes. That is huge, dude. That is massive. That's 5 Phoenixes. That's 5. That's even more than last game where it was 4. Well, MaxPax is playing defensively. Annie and Pulse Chris is going to finish at the same time for both of them. MaxPax, I mean, both players were just in their opponent's bases, so they both know that that is the case. Classic needs to get some shield batteries up. Those are critical in defending. Why is Classic over here? Oh, no. I think Classic thought he was ahead in the Annie and Pulse Crystals. He was not. And that's just game. All right. Phoenix versus Phoenix. God, I miss this. I kind of miss this. I don't know, dude. Back in the day, PvP was Phoenix versus Phoenix like 80% of the time. There was a period of time where Phoenix versus Phoenix was just the meta in PvP. Didn't happen every game, but it happened a lot of them. And it was fun for a little while, and then it got a little tiring seeing it every game. So I'm glad we moved away from it, but it's nice to see it come back into play occasionally in these PvPs. Now we've gotten it 3 games in a row, which is a little shocking. I don't know. It's still pretty exciting, though. Phoenix versus Phoenix is a lot of fun. I think specifically the change that made Phoenix versus Phoenix not as common, partially players didn't really want to play it anymore, so the moment they could do something else, they did. But also, shield batteries used to not heal lifted units. So if you lifted a Stalker in a mineral line, the shield battery wouldn't heal it. So trying to defend with ground units against Phoenixes was basically impossible because they would just lift them up and the shield battery did nothing. When they changed that, all of a sudden, it became more reasonable to defend with Stalkers. So I think that was a big part of the reason for the Phoenix versus Phoenix falling out of favor. Those days were a lot of fun, though. I'm glad we're getting some more Phoenix action. But it feels like MaxPax is so good at it. I know somebody said, oh, Classic was always good at Phoenix versus Phoenix, but I don't know, dude. I rarely see MaxPax lose when it becomes that matchup. But we'll see. We'll see if it continues on. We're going to Equilibrium for game number 4. I kind of hope it continues being Phoenix versus Phoenix. Or Classic busts out the 3-gate robo and see if he can just bop him. That'd be pretty fantastic too. I'll take either way. But introduce our players. In the upper right-hand corner of Equilibrium, we have Twisted Minds Classic. And in the upper left hand, we have Psystorm's MaxPax. Oh, now we have a bit of a difference here. MaxPax going for the low ground gate to start out. Classic's keeping it on the high ground. See if Classic put an S at the end of his name twice in a row for no reason. We'll see if Classic goes for a second gateway up on the high ground, or if it's going to be single gate. MaxPax, I'm expecting to just open single gate, Cybercore, Stargate, as you do if you're MaxPax. But yeah, it looks like Classic also just going to go for the single gateway and the Cybercore on the high ground. Ooh, Classic did not block MaxPax's Nexus at all, so MaxPax is going to boldly take that. Boldly go where no Protoss has gone before. And go Gate Nexus against Classic. I think a big part of this is that he saw Classic going for no second gateway, right? So maybe feels like he can get away with it a little more easily. Of course, MaxPax is very good at holding things on two bases that feel impossible to hold. So if Classic should decide to try to get aggressive, MaxPax is going to be good at handling it. Looks like Classic, though, is just going to stick with his build, goes for the Stargate before taking his own Nexus. Now, he's of course, going to be quite a bit behind on that second Nexus, so he's got to get some damage done to make up for it. That is crucial. MaxPax's Stargate, all things considered, not that far behind Classic's. So if Classic tries to go for like an Oracle first, MaxPax should be able to have a Phoenix out in time to help deflect it. I kind of feel like we should see Phoenixes out of Classic here, but he's going for the Oracle. All right. See if he can get something done with it. I feel like MaxPax is going to be ready, though. Adept trying to come in here. Classic a little oversaturated on the gas. He's also trying to send the Adept across. Where is the Oracle? There is the Oracle. And is a Phoenix on the way out for MaxPax. The Oracle's going to get here. Oh, there's already a Phoenix here. Now the Oracle's going to get 1, 2, 3, 4 kills. Gets a fifth one there from that one mining gas before going down. 5 kills and a decent bit of lost mining time. I think that's okay for Classic. The problem is he also has this shield battery now blocking this. He's going to have to kill with probes because he has no ground units before he's able to mine efficiently. So while he did make up for the fact that his Nexus was later, things are getting awkward now, and he's down in the Phoenix count again. Oh, and the Adept's going to get in. Probes having to be pulled against it. The Phoenixes have no energy. And even if they were able to lift it up, there's 3 Phoenixes down here for MaxPax that might be able to come in and be annoying. 2 more probes going down before that Adept dies. MaxPax just stays ahead. 1 Phoenix consistently. Both players do have second Stargates on the way. No shield battery here for Classic, though. That 4th Phoenix pops out at the perfect time to shove this away. Classic needs an out over commit because there's a 5th Phoenix already out for MaxPax. Fender's advantage really helping Classic out right now. All right, well, it looks like we're at a bit of a standoff here, similar to some of the other games. Classic still down 1 Phoenix somewhat consistently, although it's very close now. With the Phoenix production just a little staggered here for them. I don't know where this probe's going. Gonna put down a pylon. Keep an eye on things. Fleet being going to be earlier for MaxPax this game. I think it's been earlier for Classic in the last 2 games, but Classic does not have his cooking just yet, which means Anti-Impulse Crystal is going to be on the way for MaxPax a little bit sooner. Classic, in the meantime, is going to go for a faster 3rd. Keep that economy rolling. No 3rd base for MaxPax. Kind of shocking, actually. As I say that, he takes the gold. I see. Oh, MaxPax's going to dive in here. Classic, though, targeting down Phoenixes. Actually, I think that worked out better for Classic, and he catches one of the Phoenixes of MaxPax, and suddenly Classic finds himself ahead. Oh, no, and he catches the recalling Phoenix. That's 1 more dead Phoenix, giving him a 2 Phoenix lead. MaxPax trying to take the gold 3rd. Anti-Impulse Crystals is on the way for MaxPax. Maybe Classic can take advantage of his Phoenix lead before that, though, and get on over here to MaxPax's side of the field. MaxPax has a shield battery going down, trying to get it up for the defense. Classic gonna scout this gold base. Should be able to kill these probes. Just grabbing a few probe kills. MaxPax pulling back to that shield battery. Phoenix popping out here as well. Count is 12 to 10 now. Actually, still pretty heavily in favor of Classic. Anti-Pulse Crystal's about to finish though. Classic needs to get out of here. Oh, he doesn't realize Anti-Pulse Crystals is done, and now MaxPax, he just pops in, kills 2 Phoenixes, and immediately Classic needs to retreat. His is on the way, and it's not that long of an upgrade, but MaxPax evens up the worker count, or evens up the Phoenix count. The worker count, though, is in favor of Classic, and he's been mining from this third base for longer. So the income going to boost in Classic's favor here for a little bit. However, MaxPax should pull it back fairly quickly with the rich geyser and the gold base. The gold minerals, rather. Doesn't really need that many probes. Classic's like, that's a good idea. I'll take the gold base too. Thank you. Oh, and MaxPax is doing the same thing Classic did in game 2. Going for those carriers when he... I mean, he's even in the Phoenix count right now, but he's trying to get into carriers. Classic continuing to just build Phoenixes. Third Stargate on the way. He might transition into that as well soon. Carriers, that is. Mama ship on the way for both players. Getting exciting. This is fun. This is gaming right here. It's like Stalker versus Stalker, but there's like less micro you can do. There is micro with the Phoenix versus Phoenix battles. We saw Classic earlier bunch all of his up, and MaxPax did not. And because of how they spread, you will have Phoenixes not able to fire as much as each other, right? The ones in the back will fire, you know, half a second later or whatever. But also, you can't target down individual Phoenix when they're stacked like that, right? At least it's a lot harder, I feel like, to target down the individual Phoenixes. Maybe not. I guess you could just target the top one. I don't know. Not that we see a ton of targeting, but we did see Classic do some manual targeting earlier on. I don't know why there's probes dying. MaxPax already has a few carriers out. He's got 2 out. He's got 3 more on the way. Classic is getting his own carriers. 21 to 14 Phoenixes, though. That's a big deal. The Phoenixes can be really, really good against interceptors. When there's like a disengagement, having those extra Phoenix constantly killing the interceptors can be really nice for Classic. But being way down in the carrier count is very much not nice for Classic. So I'll be interested to see how this goes. MaxPax also ahead in the +1 a little bit. Could be very important. Oh, this is cute from Classic. He's going to try to get in here and get some probe kills. Worker count's been very even this whole game. MaxPax is very far away from helping these probes. So we should just see a few go down. Classic immediately recalls. Gets out of there before anything shows up. You'll love to see it. This is so funny. So wild. Zealot just running through, killing pylons. Classic. This base finishing up, and he's taking this one immediately, just continuing to expand. MaxPax, though, is just on 4 bases, so Classic trying to out-expand his opponent here. MaxPax is pushing out, though. A little supply blocked right now, actually. A bit painful. Need some more pylons. I love the 1 sentry. I was going to mention this earlier. This was always important thing in the Phoenix versus Phoenix fights. The sentry guardian shields. And if one player has that guardian shield and the other player doesn't, that can make a big difference in the fights. We're popping cloak here. Time warp going down for MaxPax. The fight is happening. What is going on? We're just going to watch the unit stab and see how many units each player has. Oh my god, the carriers are crushing this fight right now, but hold the phone, the Phoenixes. Classic's Phoenixes dumpstering his opponents, but now, can the Phoenixes actually kill these carriers? I don't think they can. And there's still 54 interceptors for MaxPax. Turns out Phoenixes don't beat carriers, and MaxPax will now win this game. There's the GG. And with that, he takes the 3-1 victory over Classic. So much buildup in that game. So much buildup for it to just be like a fight and it's over. I think that's why people don't like Phoenix versus Phoenix. Just too many carriers there. The carrier's doing way too much damage. The Phoenix is not particularly good at killing carriers. Decent at killing interceptors, but not as good at killing them as the interceptors are at killing the Phoenixes. And yeah, MaxPax still looks like the best Phoenix versus Phoenix player in the world. Wins another EPT Cup. GG's.